let's take a gentle breath together. Settle in and soften your shoulders. And if you can, imagine the first light across a kitchen counter, soft and gold. I'm glad you're here. Today, we'll wander into a small, fragrant corner of the pantry, green cardamom, and 3 tiny morning rituals to welcome and calm without rushing.
Good morning. I'm happy to explore this with you. Cardamom is one of those spices that opens a room just by being there. Bright, slightly mentholated, with a citrus floral lift. I love how it makes simple things feel a little ceremonial.
Exactly. Today's angle is small rituals built around scent and gentle preparations, things you can do whether you have 5 minutes or 15. We'll paint a sensory portrait of the pods and seeds, share a short market memory, then move through 3 practical uses: a spiced morning milk, an infused sugar, and a tiny aromatic sachet.
Before we begin, a quick note. This is all educational and sensory. Simple ways to bring cardamom into everyday life. If you have pregnancy, nursing, strong fragrance sensitivities, or health conditions, check with a healthcare provider about what's right for you.
Let's start with the ingredient itself. Cardamom comes as small green pods, each pod a tiny papery case holding dark, sticky seeds. Snap a pod between your fingers and there's a little pop, a release of resinous warmth that leans citrusy and floral with a hint of cool menthol. The aroma is surprisingly lively and somehow soft at the same time.
There are different kinds, too. When people say green cardamom, they often mean the aromatic Elitaria variety, used in many kitchens from South Asia to Scandinavia. Black cardamom is smokier and very different. Keep them separate in your pantry so your recipe stays bright and floral.
A morning market stall, woven baskets full of spices. A vendor opens a wooden box of green pods, and the air shifts. The crowd leans in, almost as if the spice drew them closer. An elder folds a cloth over a jar and presses a few pods into a small towel, like tucking a secret into a pocket. It feels like a way of passing calm from hand to hand.
I can see that. In some families, a jar of crushed cardamom lived on the counter, ready for morning porridge or a cup of tea. That simple presence makes the morning feel intentional, even when everything else is hurried.
Which brings us to the 3 small rituals. All are easy, pantry-friendly, and can be scaled down for sensitive noses. We'll start with practical use A, a spiced morning milk you can steep gently and sip slowly.
Here's a simple version you can make in about 10 to 12 minutes. Ingredients: 1 cup milk of your choice, 2-3 whole green cardamom pods gently crushed, a ½ strip of cinnamon if you like, and a touch of sweetener, about 1 teaspoon honey, maple, or a lightly cardamom-infused sugar if you have it. Optional: a small pinch of vanilla.
Method: gently bruise the pods with the back of a spoon. No need to grind them fine. Add milk, the crushed pods, and cinnamon to a small saucepan. Warm slowly over low heat for 8 to 10 minutes. Do not boil until the milk holds the aroma and a thin veil of steam rises. Turn off the heat and let it rest for 2 minutes. Strain into your favorite cup and sweeten to taste. Sip slowly, noticing the warmth and the cardamon's lift.
A few gentle tips. If you have a sensitive nose, start with 1 pod and taste or smell before adding more. If you're making this for someone who is pregnant or for an infant, check guidance from a care provider. Small spices are usually fine in food, but everyone's body is different.
Now, practical use. Cardamom-infused sugar. This is a pantry trick that brightens toast, tea, or simple baked goods, and only takes a few minutes plus a day to sit if you like deeper flavor.
Quick method. For about 1 cup of sugar, use 2 to 3 crushed cardamom pods. Open the pods, scrape out the seeds, and gently crush the seeds with a mortar and pestle or the flat of a knife. Mix the crushed seeds into the sugar and store in an airtight jar for at least a few hours or overnight. If you want a milder taste, use 1 pod per cup. Label the jar and use it for moving toast, stirring into tea, or dusting over fruit.
Storage note: keep the infused sugar in a cool, dry place. Over time, the flavor will mellow. If the sugar ever smells musty or off, replace it. Buy whole pods from reputable spice merchants and prefer intact green pods that smell lively when you open them.
And practical use C, a tiny aromatic sachet. This is perfect for a drawer, a linen closet, or as a subtle bedside scent. It's not a pillow spray and should not be placed directly under someone's head. Safety first. Avoid near infants or people with fragrance sensitivities.
Sachet method: take a small square of breathable fabric or a tiny muslin bag. Fill it with about a teaspoon of crushed cardamom seeds, a teaspoon of dried lavender or dried orange peel for a softer profile, and a few whole pods for visual charm. Sew or tie it closed. Tuck into a sock drawer or a bedside drawer. If you want a milder sachet, simply place whole pods in a tiny bag without crushing the seeds. This gives a gentler scent.
Sachet safety reminders. Perform a quick scent test before putting it near clothing or linens. If anyone in your household has asthma, severe allergies, or strong fragrance sensitivity, avoid placing sachets in shared sleeping areas. Replace sachets every few months to keep the scent fresh and to avoid any moisture-related issues.
A brief sourcing and quality note: choose whole grain pods when possible. Look for even color, no mold or speckling, and a bright fragrance when you gently crack one open. Avoid pre-ground cardamom for these rituals if you want the freshest aroma. Whole pods retain their oils much longer. Store in an airtight container, away from heat and light, and replace older spices regularly.
And a few more practical cautions we want to keep in mind for listeners. Start small. Strong cardamom aroma can irritate sensitive noses. Using too much ground spice can overpower flavors or upset delicate stomachs. If you're ever unsure about using cardamom during pregnancy or with certain medications, check with a healthcare professional.
Now, let's take a short sensory pause together. Close your eyes if you're able. Imagine a small cup of milk steaming in your hands, the room soft, the cardamom lifting like a gentle bell, citrus, then floral, then a cool menthol whisper. Breathe in slowly, let your shoulders drop, and let that small, fragrant moment travel with you into the day.
When you return, maybe pick one small habit to try tomorrow morning. Just one. Perhaps the cup of spiced milk on a weekday when you usually rush, or a teaspoon of cardamom sugar on toast. Small repetitions are how ritual becomes comfort.
Cardamom is a gentle bridge between the sensory world and daily life, an easy way to make morning feel considered without adding chores. If you try the spiced milk, use 2 to 3 pods per cup and steep gently. For sugar, 1 to 3 pods per cup of sugar, depending on intensity. For a sachet, a teaspoon of crushed seeds with gentle complementary herbs.
Before we close, a final practical cue. If you're experimenting, keep a little notebook note. How many pods you used, what milk you chose, whether you preferred vanilla or cinnamon. It's a tiny practice that helps you tune the ritual to what feels best for you.
If you enjoyed this quiet stroll through cardamom, follow the show so you'll find your next gentle ingredient waiting for you. We share small rituals and simple recipes each episode. Nothing complicated, always gentle, and respectful of safety. Subscribe to Earthy Remedy wherever you listen, and tell a friend who likes the idea of slow mornings.
Thank you for spending a little of your morning with us. If you try a recipe or make a sachet, We'd love to hear about what you notice, how the scent settles in, or which tiny change becomes part of your routine.
Let nature guide us today. Let's take a gentle step into nature's wisdom. Until next time, may your mornings be fragrant and calm.